So, ladies and gentlemen, we got ourselves an interesting matchup this Sunday night. The Cowboys and the Colts will be going at it, and I'm actually kind of shocked this game was not flexed out, but it's the Cowboys, so they're going to keep that primetime slot. But you got Dallas here. They're favored by 10.5. I actually saw the line move. It was 11 by some bettors. Some others, it's still 10.5. Not sure what's going on there, but we're going to just go with the 10.5 point spread that the Cowboys have. Now, the Colts have been a very weird team. They have Jeff Saturday now as their head coach. They fired Frank Reich in the middle of the season because that team just, I don't know what the hell's going on. But now they're playing a lot more competitive football, and if I'm going to just be completely honest with you, I just think that this is a team that's going to be a thorn in the Cowboys' side because they've been playing tough football with Jeff Saturday, right? You look what they did with Philadelphia. They beat the Raiders. They played the Steelers competitive, and you might say, well, Space, some of these teams are just whatevers, and I get it, 110%. But this is a game the Cowboys can't take lightly, okay? Now, you look at who they got. You got Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan has not looked good, and I think that something to keep of note is the Cowboys tend to do better with statue quarterbacks, which Matt Ryan happens to be. So I think that that's something that plays into their defense's hand. They got Jonathan Taylor. They got a nice little run game. I think that their offensive line hasn't been the best this year, even though they have some guys on that line where you could say, Indy should be able to run the ball well. Really, outside of Quentin Nelson, that line has not looked good. And then you got a guy in Michael Pittman who's been their leading receiver, and, they haven't really gotten a whole lot of production offensively, right? It just seems like it's anemic, and you look at games like the Philadelphia game where they could have won that game if they got into the end zone, but they did not, and that's really been the problem with this team. Meanwhile, you look at the Cowboys, they're coming off two big wins over playoff contenders, and they're looking to stack another win to get closer to a playoff clinching scenario, which I've gone on the record and I've said that 11 is probably going to be the magic number for this team, and I'm going to just be completely real with you. This is going to be a huge game for the Cowboys because it's games like this where you have to start getting ready for this run, and I don't want them to overlook their upcoming matchups versus Philadelphia and Tennessee, which I'm worried that's going to happen in the Jacksonville game, but you look at who's on the injury report, right? You got DeMarcus Lawrence, Jaron Kearse, Michael Gallup, Anthony Barr, Trevon Diggs. I think I also saw Terrence Steele on there. And whether there's something going on there, I'm not entirely sure. But I'm kind of worried about long term. However, usually when it comes to injuries, I'd rather them happen earlier than going into the postseason. So let's just talk about this matchup head to toe. Offense, defense, special teams. So starting with the Cowboys offense, look, they're going up against a pretty tough defensive unit in Indianapolis. And I'm not trying to say that Indy's like elite, but like I said, they've been giving teams fits. And that's something where I look at that and I'm like, okay, well, how can you exploit it? And I think the Cowboys have a good formula. It's really simplistic. It's run the ball until it doesn't work and pass the ball when, it's convenient. I don't think that they need to do anything electric passing the ball. Or really, if the run game's not working, then go to the pass. Like, it's as simple as that. And I'm not trying to say, like, they're going to do anything special. But, again, I'm not expecting Dallas to put up 40 points in this game. I think that this is going to be more so, like, if you score 24 plus, you'll probably win this game. And I think that where the Cowboys will win this game is defensively. And it's because, like I mentioned, with the Colts offense, you're really not getting much unless Matt Ryan turns into unless Matt Ryan turns into MVP form. I don't think you should be worried. I look at what Matt Ryan has done against the Cowboys. I think he's only beat us. Jesus, it's been a long time. I think the only time I remember him beating us, I think, was 2012. I could be wrong. No, 2015 as well. But, with a starting quarterback, the Cowboys have done well against Matt Ryan. And this time, different situation. He's a lot older. It looks like he's just doing the bare minimum. And the Colts strategy is kind of like the Giants, right? They're a team where you don't need to score a whole lot of points because you're hoping that your defense can hold it. And you can even attribute this to the Cowboys earlier in the year. But the problem is that when the Colts run into teams that score more like 20 plus points, you're kind of like, please God, just score something. I mean, they haven't really looked the greatest. I mean, let's take a look at their last 5 games. You look at the last 5 games for the Colts, they have lost 5 out of their last, excuse me, they've lost 4 out of their last 5. The one win coming against Las Vegas. They've scored 17, 26, 25, 17, and 24. So they're averaging about 22-ish points a game. Meanwhile, Dallas is coming in red hot. They're averaging about 30-something odd points a game with Dak back under center. I mean, Dallas is looking pretty good here, and I think that this is going to be a huge game for Dallas to be like, yeah, the Green Bay game was an anomaly. Don't worry about it. But I think where the Cowboys win is, well, look, I'm looking at this defense for the Colts statistically. I mean, goddamn, like, 99 rushing yards allowed, or 118 rushing yards allowed, 206 passing yards allowed. You know, that's definitely something to keep an eye out on. And then you look at what they've done offensively. I mean, 99 rushing yards to 245 passing yards. You might be saying those are just stats-based, Cowboy. Who gives a shit? But the way I look at it is that you have a Colts team that has not been able to run the ball very well. And so I think that's where you're going to capitalize. This is going to be one of those games where the formula for Dallas has been, if we put up enough points, we're going to force them to throw the ball. And if we force them to throw the ball, that is when our pass rushers can eat and feast. And I think this is going to be one of those games. And another reason why this is crucial, you need to stay on Philly's ass. Philly's got a huge game against Tennessee, and Tennessee needs to win that game to really close up the division. I mean, they're pretty much in the same situation as the Vikings. Their division is complete shit, and they're kind of just hoping that they can get an easy clinch, so we'll be doing them a favor if we win. But, yeah, I think that this next 3-game stretch, that being the Colts, the Texans, and the Jags, will really be the ramp-up period for the Cowboys, because apparently they're looking to get Tyron Smith in. We don't know if Odell Beckham will be a Cowboy. We don't know. We honestly don't know. And so the way I look at it is, if I'm being objective here, I think that Dallas should be able to win this game. I'm thinking that it's going to be like 27-16. I don't think this is going to be the blowout that people think. It's probably going to go something like the Giants game on Thanksgiving, where the Dallas Cowboys put up a decent amount of points, and then you kind of have some stalls here and there. But that's okay. I think that while we want them to blow out the Colts, well, we want them to blow out the Colts, I just think that realistically that's not going to happen. Like, I know we always do predictions, and some of us will be like, oh, the Cowboys are going to put up 40-something odd points, or, oh, the Cowboys are going to put up 30. That's not going to happen every single week. All that matters is you win the game. Now, if the Cowboys win this game and they still struggle, like, that's kind of my biggest issue from last year. We stumbled into the postseason offensively, and I think that if Dallas is able to put up points, if they make a mistake or two, okay, that's fine. But as long as they are consistent with the points that they score, I have no reason to complain, right? I mean, as long as the Cowboys can start developing consistency in the month of December, I think that's the real goal here. The record be damned. I don't give a shit that Dallas is 8-3. I don't really care about that. What I care about is that this Cowboys team gets their shit together and moves on to the next team, okay? Indianapolis 4-7-1 versus an 8-3 Cowboys team. I got Dallas winning 27-16 over Indianapolis. I just think that this really just comes down to whose defense clamps down the others the best, and I think that Dallas is more equipped. You look at the weaponry that Dallas has as of the moment versus the Colts, and it's not even fair. But I say that, and then they're going to lose. And if there's any superstitious things that you would like to be aware of, the Cowboys are 4-2 after Thanksgiving. Regardless of what the results are on Thanksgiving Day, the Dallas Cowboys are 4-2. And on top of that, the Cowboys need 2 more wins to have back-to-back double-digit win seasons, or 10-plus win seasons since 95-96, when the Cowboys won the Super Bowl in 1995, and then they went 10-6 the following year. And that's an accomplishment that hasn't been made by any Cowboys coach since then. So I think that that's something that we got to give Mike McCarthy props with this coaching staff that he's assembled. And I'm going to have a video talking about that once the Cowboys get to that mark, if they do, which they should. Again, the main thing that I think a lot of us need to understand, and I want Cowboys fans to get this point before I end the video here, the month of December is for the Cowboys to figure things out and get this thing right. I don't care if they lose these games. I don't care if they win. All that matters is that you play good football when it matters. No one's going to give a damn what that record is. Like, if the Cowboys go 14-3, no one's going to care unless you win it all, right? In fact, no one really cares about the record. All they care about is what you did in the postseason. So, if you look, what was I looking at? There was a thing that was out, I think it was by CBS, where they showed the most playoff wins by teams. The Cowboys are 1 win behind the Steelers and Patriots. So if you think about it, if I want to see this team do anything, I want to see that team, if they go in as a wild card, I want to see that go from 35 to 39, right? Or I want to see this team, do something. Remember, what the goal that we have shown here in Dallas is that what we want Mike McCarthy to do is build a winning football program that was better than the previous regime. And so far, aside from the 6-10 campaign that happened in 2020, he currently is on pace to do better than he did last year with this squad. And it's because of the culture that he's put in place. And again, these cultures don't really ingrain themselves until year 3, and you're kind of starting to see it. Now, we'll see if this nets any results past the first round, if they get past the first round. But again, what you want to do is you want to keep an eye out on the NFC South. I think Dallas is most likely on a collision course with Tampa Bay. However, Tampa Bay does have some tough opponents coming up. So if they start drifting, there's a realistic possibility that the Saints and the Falcons could get into the mix of things. So if it were me, you want to root for the team that has the best shot. And I think that I want the Saints to win mostly because they do have a Philadelphia Eagles draft pick that they gave to them. So there's that. But I do hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and hit that notification bell if you did. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.